Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the FIREMAPLE Polaris pressure regulator cooking system. So this is your all-in-one style cooking system, very similar to other brands out there such as Jetboil, MSR and so on, but I would suggest this could be a budget alternative to some of those higher brands. Now let's unpack it, let's have a look, let's see what we get inside the box. So, as this isn't a particularly high-end cooking system, the packaging is basic, it's okay, but I wouldn't describe it as premium brand packaging. So we'll get rid of that. So inside the box, there's a set of instructions, and then we've got the cooking system itself, which comes in this drawstring, sort of black mesh bag, FIREMAPLE label just on there. So we'll get it out, see what we get. Okay, so first thoughts are it's pretty compact. There's nothing else in the box, so that suggests to me that everything is contained inside the unit. There's a little kind of catch there, little lock, so we'll just take that off. And the handle for the mug, if you like, it flips over the top there, and there's a little kind of authenticity tag, I guess, just sort of on there. We'll leave that on there just for the moment. And then we open it, and that locks. That feels quite secure, that locking mechanism. And there is a little button there, it's a little release button, just for flipping it back over. So far so good with that. And then we've got a BPA-free plastic lid with a little hole there. I guess for drainage and just for sort of releasing steam when you're doing a boil. So that's the first thing that we've got. And then the next thing in the top is this little attachment, which we'll come back to shortly. Those of you that have cooking systems will probably know what that's for, but we'll come back to that in a bit. More packaging. And then we have the stove itself, which is quite hard to get out actually, it's quite snug. A bit of all wiggle, there we go. So then we have the actual stove system itself. Now, the big selling feature of this FIREMAPLE cooking system is this part here. So obviously this is where the gas canister screws onto the device, but it has something called a pressure regulator system. And my understanding of this is that it doesn't matter how much gas is left in your canister when you attach it to the cooking system. The idea of this part of the device is it's meant to regulate the pressure and the flow of gas into the stove. Those of you that use cooking stoves will know that sometimes when the gas runs low, that can affect the performance of the stove. But this is designed to kind of counteract that and to just provide consistency with the cooking, the boiling that you do with this device. So that sounds promising. We've got a little piezo igniter just there on the side. So, I mean, I would never go out without a lighter or a box of matches anyway, but then we've got the flame control just there, and that actually can be used to simmer. That's something really good that you can do on this device. I know similar systems, comparative systems, the only thing that you can do is just boil, and you can't simmer or do anything else. So that might be useful for what you're looking to do. Then we've got your standard kind of canister stand, just to provide stability when it's all set up. And then we've got the actual pot itself, which is made of anodized aluminium, and it has this neoprene cover on the outside. It's 1 litre. Now, some of the other models in the range do come in smaller sizes. I think there's a 0.8 litre, and I think there's one even smaller than that. So this isn't small by any means. This will boil you 1 litre of water, which could be useful if you're traveling with somebody else, or if you're out of the trail, you're in the mountains, you're in a particularly remote area and you just need something quite reliable and you need to boil up more water, or you might need enough water for 2 dehydrated meals, for example. If we take a look at the bottom of the mug, you have this heat exchanger part of the device, and the idea behind that is to act as a bit of a windshield within that area, but also to really effectively transmit the heat from obviously the stove part of the device. Now, FIREMAPLE say that having this included will reduce the boil time by up to 30%. So I think what we'll do now, we'll fix it all together and we'll get a boil on. I forgot to mention that there are measurements inside the mug. So we've got metric and imperial. There's a ½ litre, 0.5 litre and a 1 litre mark. And those of you that use imperial measurements, there are ounces indicators on there as well. So I put ½ litre of water in there. I'm going to set a timer. Okay, not bad. That got us to a boil in about 1 minute 50 seconds, which I think is quite acceptable. I'm sure there are cooking systems that might do it a little bit quicker, but that was ½ litre of water in 1 minute 50. I can touch that lid there with no problems, and the sides are nice and cool to touch. Should just come apart. One thing I've noticed is that the flame regulator there, when you turn it anti-clockwise to switch on the stove to release the gas, it doesn't release the gas straight away. I don't know whether that's deliberate. It just slightly threw me, because on all my other stoves, as soon as you turn the flame regulator in an anti-clockwise motion, you get that hiss and the gas is coming out straight away. I didn't get that with this, and I thought there was something wrong. But maybe it's some kind of sort of extra sort of safety feature, I don't know, but that's just worth bearing in mind. So you have to give it about a sort of a ½ turn before you hear that hiss and the release of the gas. I did say I'd come back to this little attachment. Now, I have seen people with, I can't remember, I think it's the Jetboil, one of the Jetboil models that comes with this. So this is pretty good. So if you don't want to boil water and you want to use another pan, a frying pan or a wider pot or something like that, then FIREMAPLE do provide this useful little metal plate which just goes onto the top of the stove. It doesn't screw on, it just sits on the stove, and it seems quite secure when it sits there, and I think that could be quite useful. The other thing that I thought I would do, everyone, is just show you that flame regulator in action with the pot separated. So we'll just switch it back on. Right, so full flame. You might not be able to see it, but I promise you it's there. And then if we bring it down, I want about a medium, low. That's almost off. You can't quite see it, but there is a nice simmer there. So in terms of the weight of this, with everything stored inside and folded down, FIREMAPLE say that it weighs in at 622 grams. So it's not the lightest. It's not going to be as light as your higher end brands like your Jetboils and so on, but the overall price is cheaper. I guess you could make weight saving in other areas. I think you could easily store one of those C100 kind of sort of smaller style canisters in there. So what do I think overall? I think overall, my first impressions, and this is first impressions, I've only done a test boil, are good. They're quite positive actually. At this price point, it would be easy to think it's not going to be that good and it's going to be a little bit cheap. When I looked at the packaging, I thought, yeah, it's not very premium, but kind of when I took it out of the box and I looked at it and I've had a little bit of a handle of it, and a play with it, I'm actually quite impressed, and I'm really looking forward to trying it out on future camps and future trips. It's a little bit bigger than what I would need, so if I was going ultra lightweight, I perhaps wouldn't take it, but if I had a bit more room, or I knew perhaps weather conditions weren't going to be that great and I was going to be holed up somewhere, then I probably would take this. Early signs, yeah, get my thumbs up, seems pretty good. Be interested to know whether any of you have tried this out. Get in the comments and let me know your thoughts as always. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.